Hi, everyone. Mike White here. Welcome to this week's blog post. One of the topics that I constantly reinforce with my clients and bring up with new clients is the fact that you really have to pay attention to your connections. And I see it way too often in our industry that, and in a lot of industries, by the way, that far too many people lose business because they don't pay attention to their connections. You know, absence does not make the heart grow fonder. It actually makes it look in new directions for whatever it was that you provided for them that you are no longer provided for them, or they don't think that you've prioritized. And loan officers in general are notorious for assuming relationships instead of being proactive in nurturing those relationships. And a prime example of this is that many loan originators lose touch with their contacts, whether it be pre-approved borrowers or closed clients, and they do so at an alarming rate. I've seen firsthand very few people who actually schedule follow-ups or schedule the next time they're going to speak to that client once they've concluded whatever task or whatever communication that they have. And I mean personally communicate on a high value level. And a high value level is not a blanket email or a group email that or just posting something on social media. I mean a personal phone call, a handwritten note, even a text message, scheduling an actual appointment or a visit. Those are the things that I'm talking about when I'm talking about scheduling these communications. And I will tell you again, one of the things that I bring to the table for my clients is making sure that they have a procedure, something that they do each time, every time, at every stage of a relationship, so that it becomes automatic. They don't think twice about, hey, I put this person into my system and I'm going to speak to them on their birthday. I'm going to speak to them once a year for their annual review. I'm going to send them a value added coupon video. I'm going to share with them, news and events that are happening, on a monthly basis. Not staying in touch with your clients, it can be disastrous. And many loan officers, in particular, lose more than half of what their potential income would have been simply because they don't stay connected to their people. I will tell you, I see this all the time. Loan officers who not only speak to a client, but go through the process, acknowledge the fact that this client wants to buy a house, collects documentations, goes through the pre-approval process, issues a pre-approval letter, and then never contacts them again. They just leave it off. Well, as soon as you find a house and go into contract, call me. And a lot of the time, that client never comes back because that client doesn't seem to think it matters whether they use you or anyone else, because you haven't deemed the relationship to be valuable by staying connected to them. And the other thing is for those people who do have systems and protocols, I was just with a group of people in the past few weeks, and their manager was all over them because they were falling behind on their tasks. They had tasks accumulating in their queue. And I saw loan officers and LOAs literally going through their queues and clicking off those contacts. They didn't actually communicate with those people. They just deleted them. It's because what they got out of the conversation wasn't, you've got to do the work and speak to these people. It was, you got to get rid of all those tasks that are accumulating in your inbox. Could you imagine going through that, whatever your position was, every one of those clients Every one of those people has a certain transactional value, $2, $3, $4, $5,000, and you're just deleting the actual task, which may mean that that customer doesn't use you or goes off and uses somebody else. How many times you want to click a button and throw away $2, $3, $4, $5,000? And yet it happens at an alarming rate. In fact, in the studies that I've done with different banks and different lenders, failure to communicate with people that you first spoke to about the mortgage process and staying with them through the entire process means that you're missing out on more than half of the potential opportunities that you had. Just following up with your people means you could probably double your income. I mean, really? You want to double your income? How about you just do the work that's already laid out in front of you? And yet, here we go. It just doesn't happen. Now, news from the street, we're seeing really solid success with the whole back to school strategy and the housing obsolescence plan. Granted, we're still in the midst of parts of the country going back to school, still some haven't gone back yet. But early returns of the people who have gone back to school in early August, we're seeing really, really good results. In fact, I've had people have their best months of the year this August and are rolling pretty solid pipelines into September, when people will tell you purchase applications are down and nobody's buying and everybody's afraid and interest rates are high and blah, 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 blah. I can make a list a mile long. There's not enough time in the day to go into every excuse that a loan officer or a realtor will give you as to why they're not closing a deal today. But I can tell you, if you do the work, if you follow the plan, if you execute the strategies that we talk about, you're going to get more than your fair share, and you're going to outperform the other people in your office, the other people in your company, the other people in your area, because it's just a matter of fact that there's work to do, there's opportunities that are out there, and people are not getting in front of them most of the time because they don't believe in the fact that this is still a market in which there are plenty of opportunities for you to go out and get the 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 or more closed loans a month that you need to take care of yourself and your family. It's really important that you follow these strategies. They're laid out for a reason. It's because they've worked year in and year out. The other part about September, it's time. We've talked about it before. If you've been on the calls, if you've paid attention, it's September, and September, in addition to being back to school follow-up, is accountant month. And we've talked at great length about our accounting plan. So for those of you who have been collecting and connecting with your accountants all year long, for every tax return that you saw and every accountant or tax preparer you saw who signed those tax returns, this is why you did it. It's time to pick up the phone and reach out to them and make sure that they're aware that now is the time to, when they're connecting with their clients, for those people who file tax extensions, that they're bringing up the value and speaking to you and getting a clear plan about what their future is, because it will, I absolutely guarantee you, will turn into deals, because very few people understand the power of what can happen for people who are filing now their 2021 tax returns and can file again in February. It's a very powerful strategy. Again, it doesn't work with everyone, but where it works well. And many accountants are surprised that there are loan officers out there that are that knowledgeable, that have that kind of understanding and that ability to create real differences in real value in their clients' lives. So as always, again, questions or comments, it's Mike at imtcoaching.com. Do the work, because the work works. And I'll talk to you again next week. Take care.